So when we make fun of Dave Meltzer here, we preface it by saying this is everybody's favorite segment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. Yes. Okay. So this is hilarious doing this with you, buddy. So, you got called MAGA because you don't agree with Dave Meltzer. So what do you make of people who just like to throw around you're an ist, you're an obic, or you're a MAGA or whatever, just because you disagree with anyone, let alone Dave Meltzer? Comes a lot from I don't know, the people who sort of orbit him, And
if you read that thread, he also turned out to tell me that I'm also transphobic as well. So,
right.
Yeah, because I disagreed. This individual has something wrong. I didn't want to go too much back and forth with this individual because obviously something's missing. And he was getting really upset that like people were actually coming to defend me for this. And again, I don't care what someone's political belief is. I am not a political person. I'm political when it comes to wrestling, but in real politics, I am not political. Right. I will never have a conversation online about anybody's political belief as well. So that's first and foremost. But yeah, it's easy. It's low hanging fruit. It's something that you can say to somebody and get people, like, for example, like you can get people to pile on because like if this person had any sort of following, they don't, but if they did, it would be easy for people to start piling on me and believe that because a lot of people believe what they read on the internet. So, and again, I'm not saying supporting Donald Trump is a bad thing. I have friends that do. Whatever you have, I don't, but I'm not against it. Okay. Yep. So that's just my take. People can be friends and they have different political affiliations. But what I'm going to say is that he knows that's an internet thing that can get people mad. I know people did that to Jack Vaughn as well. And said he's a MAGA thumping something. And I asked, and I was talking to him. He's like, I never posted about being in any sort of political like affiliation, but people think I'm MAGA for some reason. Like he's like, I've never posted. Ridiculous. He's like, I've never, but now people try to say that to disparage me, and that's the thing. Like these people are doing that. They want to disparage people, and then like I said, lower down in the thread, now he's saying that me and people that support me are transphobic. So it is really just unbelievable. So yeah.
Yeah, saying you bring out the worst people in the community. Bud, get a mirror.
Get a mirror, for real.
Get a mirror, buddy. Go say that to yourself a few times. So I don't know. You've had some funny tweets. I bookmark them here. Meltzer's recent stats. Tony Snell versus Jazz.
Poor Tony Snell.
Yeah, dude. 28 minutes. He's catching strays. Yeah. So yeah, Dave Meltzer. I mean, you brought it up before, and I have some like examples. We have some Dave stuff to laugh at here. But again, here's you just throwing out there, Dave's missing. Now, you obviously know you're going to get a rise out of people by doing this online too. So it's not like you're a stupid guy. You know what you're doing as well. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So I don't know. It's smart and it's good. I like to see when wrestlers call them out a little bit. Here's something you said like a while ago. You said it actually blows my mind how people continue to defend Dave Meltzer. I agree. I called him out and I get attacked by his loser fan base. Yep. This guy is a piece of tabloid wannabe Harvey Levin with no real sources and no credibility anymore. It's true. He was once great at what he did, but now he's a detriment to pro wrestling. Yeah. And I think that's, when you see, I don't know, when you just see the way, people cater to him, it definitely as a fan, you're like, dude, come on.
Especially this report when he was saying about Pat McAfee was part of an angle, but it was a death in the family. Like, dude, shut up. Like, yeah, it's just inconsiderate. And my issue is that there's never like, if there was like hey guys, I apologize, that wasn't right, that wasn't correct. But he doubles down. He doubles down on it, and he's like, nope. That's what I was told. And it's like, oh, so you're just gonna say it? Like you have he has an influence. He does. Like whether you like it or not, the guy has an influence in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it, but he does. And he's built that influence. So again, respect to him for building a following. Right. But again, like that for saying things like that when you have an influence like he does is just wrong.
Right. And I believe this is off the back of or just before as well. I believe Alpha had passed away, but he had jumped the gun and been like, Alpha's passed away. And then I believe his daughters were like, no, he didn't. And then he passed away the next day. And Dave was like, well, I had checked in and I just assumed or whatever. And it's like, bro, you cannot do that at the level you're at. I don't know. It disturbs me sometimes, the levels he'll go to sometimes to be like, oh, I got the scoop. And it's like, no, man, you're getting worked by a fan-made WBD internal memo that someone put in like a Fightful Discord, and you're like, I have the insight. You know what I mean? I have an internal memo.
I get how some of these, you want to be the first, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a true tabloid Wrestling Observer. It is. And the thing is like, I respect guys. I know a lot of people give him a lot of slack, but I respect guys like SRS, Sean Ross Sapp, because he does do his due diligence and he checks with multiple sources. And is he always right? No, he's not.
You're never going to be.
But he'll also say at times, like, I edited this, I was wrong, and here's the story, and I was told something different, didn't happen. And again, like, I respect that. You can be wrong. I don't care. Right. The weatherman's wrong. The weatherman's wrong. The best baseball players are fail 70% of the time at the plate. So it's like, it's okay to not be right or to fail at times. But as long as you take accountability and you own up to it and say, hey, hand up, my bad, that wasn't the correct thing, that's fine. Like that, but he doesn't do that, and I just think it's wrong.
Yeah, I think we're at a stage too where, at least where it comes to WWE for sure, where they're purposefully stooging out like false stuff, or like some of it's accurate and then some of it's wrong, just so people miss more, and then it keeps you guessing,
I mean, it's smart if you're working it like that. Like, I think it's smart, but I don't know. I don't know that at all. But,
right. I'm not asking for a scoop here, but this ain't a dirt sheet. No. Listen, so you spoke earlier about the ID story, right? So Meltzer ended up like deleting that from the Observer. And then Meltzer said what in brackets says, I bet he doesn't miss the print edition today, though. So basically he printed this whole, or he talked about on his radio show, I'm not sure, it was just quoted and posted everywhere, where he was saying how WWE ID basically has total control, pal, over all of the people they've ID'd on the indies, and they're calling the shots on indies. We had Brett Lauderdale and others call this out. You work the indies, man. I mean, tell us more about that. Obviously, you said it before, like, it can affect people's livelihoods to a degree. And yeah, what do you make of like him just completely botching this ID thing? Like, where's he getting this from? And I don't know, like, at what point this has got to affect some of these indie wrestlers in a negative way. No, like, some people might be hesitant to take an ID opportunity if they trust what Meltzer has to say. Thank God people came out and proved this wrong. But what's your perspective as an indie wrestler?
I mean, again, like I mentioned, this is that, like, it can definitely be a detriment. Like, I don't think people take it as serious, so I don't think it's going to be a detriment, but it could be a detriment of the WWE ID talent, of like trying to get booked. Again, I've been around them. I know a lot of them. I've been in locker rooms with them. I don't know where the information's coming from. I truly don't. I don't know how it works. Now, when they work each other, are the matches put together? Maybe, like, because it's their own thing, right? But I've never seen like talent, like WWE ID talent work indie talent, and like things be like, I need to do this, and this is how it needs to work. Like, I mean, I've been around it, and it's not the case. I can't speak for the WWE ID matches when they do their own matches. I don't know. I haven't seen that, but when I've seen WWE ID guys work other individuals, and as you said, promoters like Brett and the Defy promoter, I'm not sure of his name, but or her, I'm not really sure who runs Defy, but they came out and was like, it's not true. Like, it's not true. So it's ridiculous.
Would you take up like a WWE ID thing? And you don't even got to answer that, but like, would you do it? Is that something you're like, oh yeah, I'd do it, but I'm just focused on my own thing right now? Or
of course I would. Like, I think if it leads, I mean, we don't know what it is. We don't know what it's going to turn out to be. Right. And I think for now, I think it's a positive thing. It's like they're showing interest in the indies. Remember, like, years ago, people were complaining that WWE was only focused on college athletes, and everybody got mad about that. Now they're putting more of a focus on the indies, and some reason people are mad about that. So, people are going to be mad no matter what. Fickle. Yeah. So I think it's good. They're focusing on I know it's run by Gabe Sapolsky. who is a big fan of the indies, and he's a flag bearer for the indies, and he's somebody that, you know, understands that's where really good talent comes from, and it's not just, you can't just always have a ton of college athletes. You know, yeah, they're great athletes, but some of them don't care about wrestling, right? So the indies, you really have to care about wrestling. As much as I make fun of it and have fun and poke fun at silly things on the indies, I care about it. I wouldn't do this if I didn't.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing, and we're going to see where it goes. You know, it's literally only been, it started in November. Like, it's been like less than 6 months. Like, so, I mean, let's see where it goes from here.
Yeah. And people got to realize too, people are harsh on things they love as well. Like I you know, my show's just cracking jokes and going on angry tirades, and you know, that's because I care. I love wrestling, you know, I just want to see it thrive and all of that sort of thing. But anyways, though, Dave, this Bob McGee 70323520 says, Dave, any word, is a bot if I've ever seen one. Dave, any word on the WWE ID thing? Were you given wrong information, or are there different standards for different people? Dave's like, well, you know, except actually, you know, well, Joe Lanza did a breakdown. So, yeah, I don't know. Joe Lanza, I guess, gets the heat for this.
Yeah, he just puts the heat on Joe Lanza.
Man, I'm no Voices of Wrestling fan either, but I mean, he's like, well, I mean, it wasn't even me, Brian. So in today's Wrestling Observer newsletter, and what appears to be a now deleted story in the online version of the newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported on guidelines. So he said, when it comes to WWE ID talent, the deal according to a contract is that Gabe Sapolsky puts the matches together, Brian, and gives scripts to the promoter. The promoter pays the talent and can push that the talent comes from. Holy man, is this what he really wrote? WWE covers the travel cost with a stipend, and the promoter pays the difference if the travel costs are larger than the stipend. Did he really make this much typos? I don't know if he wrote this. That's ridiculous. If someone else rewrote that and butchered his writing, but you know, Dave, not the best penmanship, I'd say. But yeah, if the travel costs are larger than the stipend, so, you know, he gets called out like there's no stipend, and like that's the sort of stuff that can like affect people or affect people's decisions and that sort of thing.
I mean, again, like, promoters are going to pay the wrestlers to come into the promotion. That's, if you want to call that a stipend, like, sure. Like, but like, promoters are going to pay, and they're going to bring them in and pay for their flights. Like, I get flights paid for, I get travel paid for. Like, it doesn't, like, what is that? Like, I don't understand. Like, yeah, indie wrestlers, do people think we just all do it for free all the time? Like that, because the joke of the hot dog and the handshake joke that's overplayed? Like, is it because so they think that like the only way we can make any money is if WWE, or the only way that we can get to shows is if WWE pays for it? Like, it's just so silly. It's so dumb.
It is.
And like, yeah, are they getting opportunities? Yeah, of course they got WWE Evolve, right? So they're doing different things. So they're getting a little bit more like exposure from WWE. So yes, that is helping them. But like these like BS stories about like how they go into promotions and demand to win, and they have to be put over, and this, that, and the other. It's like, just give me a break, dude. Give me a break.
So at Meltzer Said What, and if you want a great follow, dude, follow Meltzer Said What. Not a vicious, malicious, or gross person by any means. Goes at Meltzer pretty hard, but just has been chronicling his stupidity forever. Good friend of the show. But just lastly, he posts like, you know, and Meltzer completely no-sells it and doesn't acknowledge it even, that he got it wrong on Observer Radio. Meltzer Said What listens to everything, so you take his word here. You know, Dave didn't even acknowledge it. Dave then gets called out on it, and instead of acknowledging it, he lies. He vaguely directs people to go pay Joe Lanza and the Voices of Rats Patreon to get exclusive details on the lies that Dave seemingly made up. So yeah, I don't know. Again, just skirting the responsibility, and that's just sort of where you got to call it out. It's like if he owned it and was like, dude, I don't know, I got my information. This guy, I'm not going to trust this source again, maybe. You don't even have to go that far. Just, dude, but instead, no, it's like doubling down, and go show some more money. You gave me $14.99. Go show some more to these assholes for them to lie to you or not have the full story.
And you know what? Wrestling is carny to begin with. So hey, dude,
exactly.
if you're hawking and wanting to get paid for it, you know, Dave, go ahead. Like, go. And if people are paying for it, that's not his problem.
Yeah.
So like, you know, do your thing, man. Like, and if this is if he's just playing a part right now, and if this is all a big work, then kudos to him. I'll be his biggest fan if he's playing this part and it's working for him by making him money. But if it's not, then I'm not his fan. And I think it's lame.
Well, you know what they say.
Best guy's Tony Khan.
And that was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.